Hello, Full Circle Chat listeners. Before we dive into today's conversation, we would like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, the Full Circle Chat store. If you are looking to elevate your wardrobe or find the perfect gift, we offer a curated collection of premium items designed with you in mind. From cozy hoodies and stylish tote bags to sleek mugs and unique accessories, there is something for everyone. Explore our exclusive range of men's and women's apparel, all crafted for quality and comfort. Visit fullcirclechatshop.com today to shop. Support the podcast, of course, and discover your next favorite piece. Now let's get into the episode. So today's guest truly exemplifies grit, excellence, and purposeful living, both professional and personally. Bryan Iwuji is a first-generation Nigerian American born and raised in Dallas, Texas. A natural leader and a fierce competitor, Bryan excelled as inside linebacker at Hebron High School, where he played a pivotal role in leading his team to a Texas State championship. At Texas State University, he distinguished himself as a conference champion and earned all conference honors, recognized widely for his toughness, leadership, and his unique ability to elevate those around him. Bryan's impact extended far beyond the gridiron. He was instrumental in Bobcat Build, which is Texas State's largest community service initiative, which is mobilizing students to improve neighborhoods through home repairs and community revitalization efforts. Transitioning from athletics to the medical device sales industry, Bryan carried forward his competitive drive and discipline. Over a decade, he built a remarkable career with industry leaders like Stryker, Medtronic, Boston Scientific, and now Terumo Neurovascular, where he contributes to delivering life-saving innovations in neurosurgery. Known for his mastering complex sales cycles and cultivating trust with surgeons, Bryan has consistently been a top performer who makes a tangible difference in patient care. Perhaps more transformative is Bryan's faith journey. In April of 2024, he recommitted himself through baptism, marking a profound turning point of renewed purpose and conviction. His faith now fuels not only his personal life, but also his leadership, but also his mentorship and commitment to inspiring others to pursue their calling with integrity and excellence. Whether it's on the field, whether it's in the boardroom, or in his walk with faith and walk of faith, Bryan brings passion, perseverance, and a deep desire to leave a lasting impact. Bryan Iwuji, welcome to Full Circle Chat.
Man, bro, thank you so much, man, for having me.
Of course,
Really, it's an honor, really, to be here, man, on your podcast. I've been really wanting to catch up with you, man, and this is great timing. I appreciate the intro, man. That's very humbling to hear all that, and I'm grateful, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have you, and we've known each other through the years, right? We didn't have like a personal relationship, but we had a mutual respect for each other. And your story is one that really, for me, I don't know, goosebumps, right? Like we had a conversation a few nights ago, and it just felt like someone that I've known for like pretty much my entire life. So I want to start with just kind of, if you want to walk us through early stages of football, and then what from there, walk us through the transition from football to what you do now.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and no, what you're saying is so true, man. Having that conversation we had on phone, we've known each other since childhood. Being Nigerian, from the DFW area, our parents, our family would always do things together, have different events together, and we've known each other since we were like 5, 6 years old. So it's a blessing, man, to be connecting like this. Starting back, going way back to to like middle school days is when I started playing football. Me and my siblings. My dad did a really, really good job in raising me and my siblings, keeping us together, encouraging us to work hard together and trust one another. And from childhood, we always kept that same mentality. So we knew that my parents weren't making the amount of money that would they would need to be able to pay for all of our colleges. So we all just knew that, man, we got to figure out a way to help them, whether it's like, you know, get a full scholarship academically or through a sport. So we gave it our all in both. And I remember like in fifth grade, Jesse used to have my older brother Jesse used to have me and Justin like doing push-ups, calf raisers, squats in the house, like before we were even playing like organized football. And he was just really preparing us, preparing our bodies and our minds mentally, so that when we start playing the sport, we could have success. And just going on in middle school and high school, we all played sports. Jesse played football. My older brother, he ended up committing to Navy and playing football there for Navy. And as you know, he's a professional NASCAR driver
Yes,
now.
sir.
He has his own NASCAR
World
team.
renowned. World renowned.
World renowned, yeah, yeah. And there's only a couple of African Americans in that sport, so you know, to just see my own brother that I've always looked up to,
How does that feel for you
it's surreal.
to see that?
It's really surreal, man, because as brothers we would dream together, you know, and we always knew each other's dreams and and our goals, you know. And for Jesse, just watching him, I mean, he's exemplary when it comes to just faith, when it comes to not letting the outside noise affect what he has going on. As you know, being Nigerian, racing a car fast is not the first thing that our parents are like
course.
encouraging us to do, right? Like they're wanting us to either be a lawyer, doctor, accountant, or engineer.
That's it.
And if you're not any one of those, then
You're not
hopefully you're the CEO of Apple because that's acceptable to them. But for my brother, you know, his path was different, you know, because he knew in his heart what he loved and pursued it regardless of the circumstance.
I love the way you speak about him, but let's remember this is about you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm sorry, man.
No, you're fine.
There's a lot
You're
to talk
fine.
about him.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah, we together, you know, we all played sports and Jesse got a scholarship. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to Texas State playing linebacker.
Very cool.
My younger brother Justin as well too got a scholarship, and my sister got a track scholarship at Arkansas State.
The whole family.
My dad, yeah, oh
Athletes.
man, dude, man, my dad was very, very happy and proud about that we were able to do that and you know get our school paid for. So you know, going off to college, you know, I played at Texas State. I played inside linebacker and I played outside linebacker 2 years, and had a great run at Texas State, and for sure thought that I was going to make it to the NFL. Like I 100% thought I was going to make it to the NFL because of how I played and just my dreams, you know. And reality hit me when I didn't make it to the NFL after, you know, pro day and going and doing different workouts. I never got a call back, and that's when I had that first life like wake up call.
So no teams reached out to have you come out, try out, nothing like that?
No, I had a couple of I had 2 teams reach out.
Okay.
But as far as just bring me into rookie camp,
Yeah.
no one brought me into rookie camp.
gotcha.
So ultimately didn't make a team, and that's when I had to look into the real world, you know, and figure out like, you know, what exactly I wanted to do. And that right there was a big moment in my life because growing up, you know, you have a dream, right? You have a dream, you have goals, and you want to make sure that you hit those. And just playing football and not being able to go pro was something that really affected me. Then my relationship with the Lord wasn't anywhere to what it is now, you know.
Why would you say that happened? Why would you say the transition from football and not making it to the NFL? Why did that hurt so much, and why was it difficult?
Because it was my first love. Football was my first love. You know, it was my dream. was to go to the NFL and play. And when that didn't happen, it was a straight just shock to me, you know. And I didn't have a plan B. I always expected my plan A to be, you know, what I do. So ultimately, you know, that's when I had to face life and um, go into the real world, go into the corporate America world. And for me, like internally, it was a really tough time because when you don't hit a goal or you don't hit your dream, it can be very crushing. And if your relationship with the Lord isn't strong during that time,
Yeah.
then it's hard to really navigate through those emotions and feelings, you know. So for me, that was
So your football was your identity. Would you say that? Did you tie your identity to football?
I sure did, man.
Okay.
Like my identity was in football, you know, this great college football player that had just been getting love everywhere that I went and expecting to go pro. And you know, that didn't exactly happen. And goes to show that, you know, you shouldn't really put your identity in anything because anything but Christ, because things change and like one day you're the man, one day you're playing a sport or you're the CEO of a company, and the next day, you know, you're on to something else.
Nothing is guaranteed in life.
Nothing's guaranteed.
You know, and I think that's the beauty of it, at least from my perspective, right? Everyone around me, I'm not saying the masses. I feel like want certainty, meaning like they want to control everything that's happening. So there's a lot of fear in everything. Don't do this. You talk about being Nigerian growing up, about Jesse driving. Like when I saw that, I was like, "How did it?
Like, how's it even possible?
How?
Yeah.
Like, what did he say to your dad or your mom to actually allow him to do that?" But when it was like late 30s for me, got a little older. I started to really take a step back and my parents and just ask questions. I never judge them. That's not what that's about. But I always asked, why did they push so hard for that? And in that moment, I got an answer because people can only lead from experience and what they know at that time. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, so at that time. So when I listen to you talk about how your brothers, how you guys shared your dreams, that's not something that's common. So I don't know, like, was that something your parents initiated? Or was that something maybe you woke up one day and said, "Hey, this is what I want to do"?
I mean, I think it started with my parents, with just the way that they raised us to always be close, to always communicate well, and to work as a team. So, you know, whenever we're just chilling, we would all share. We lived in Garland when we were growing up, and me, Jesse, and Justin shared one room. So we would share each other's dreams. You know, what we wanted to do when we
It's
when
that
we
one
grow
room.
up. That one room,
Proximity.
man, the proximity, seriously. And I remember too, as kids, man, like we would try to go to sleep at the same time in hopes that we like ran into each other in our dreams and got to hang out in our dreams.
Oh, dude, I
that's
love
how,
that.
That's how close we were as brothers. But you know, it just goes back really to my parents and just the way that they brought us up in the right way.
Dude, that's fantastic. Listen, I just had goosebumps, but that's a different story. So let's go from like football. You're this athlete, high school, state champion, Texas State, this outstanding linebacker. Like, school's finished, now time for the NFL. Didn't work out. What happened? What was the next step for Bryan?
The next step for me was like figure out how to start a career. Like, I don't know anything about corporate America. I'm fresh out of college. I don't even know where to apply. I mean, I majored in accounting, but right when I graduated accounting, it was one of those things where I just didn't really want to go into accounting.
What made you choose that?
My dad,
Okay.
my parents,
Well, that's honest.
my parents. Yeah, I was trying to do like, I think I was trying to do like exercise sports science, And when my dad found that out, he was like, "Nah, you know, you need to do something where you're coming out of college and you know your income's well. You could be able to save well, invest, and you know start a family." So
See, we can't judge your dad. You know why? Because that's his perception.
yeah,
He believed in that, and he's
hmm
your father. So he's only showing you what he knew,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But continue. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you off,
no,
brother.
no, you're good. And our parents did really well with that. You know, they saw what worked, and that's what they preached to their kids. But as you know, like as time goes and people grow and people develop, you know, understand their own goals and dreams, you know, it's not always in alignment with what our parents want from us. But it's about really having faith and not letting anything knock you off from what you're actually hearing in your heart, what you should be doing. Like Jesse, you know, pursuing NASCAR. So I started. So my brother Justin actually connected me with the vice president of a company called RSI, and I landed a district manager role in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I had to move from Texas all the way up to Salt Lake City,
How long were
Utah.
you in Salt Lake?
I was there for 2.5 years, man.
Really? That's new. I never heard that
Cold
before,
as heck, bro.
bro.
Cold as
It's a
heck.
different, yeah, it's a different
Lips
world.
chapped, knees, knuckles,
It's
everything, man.
a different world.
But and it's a different world, you know. The people out there, like I'm used to just kind of seeing a lot of diversity out here in Texas, Dallas, you know, Houston and stuff. But just up there, it was just completely different. And as you know, like I believe 80% of the state is follows the Mormon
That's
religion.
right. That's right.
So things are really specific and different there. However, my experience was great. You know, I got to meet a lot of people that I never would have met, and very kind people. I got to enjoy the outdoors. You know, we don't have outdoors like that where you're going up mountains and
Yeah.
hiking and doing all and seeing mooses and stuff like that, just passing by. That's
Can I tell you why that happened? That was a direct reflection of your internal state. So when you said that, you know how different it was, right? But you still had that time because you're the creator. Everything you experience is all you. Anybody you experience is you. So if you're experiencing someone that's creating frustration, whatever, that's still you because we're all connected. So the reason, as you're saying it, it came to me why you were able to have such a smooth and a good time was a direct reflection of your internal state. But continue, brother.
oh man, I give glory to God, man. You know, like He's the one that gives me that peace and you know allows moments to all be you know moments of joy. So appreciate that. Um, but yeah, man. So I mean, I was living in Utah up for 2.5 years and doing my thing, getting my sales experience and everything, and I had recovered internally from just like feeling like I failed by not making it to the NFL. And this is where my walk or my interest in wanting to know more about Jesus
What was the
came to
indicator
be.
for you that you were getting over the football thing while you were in Salt Lake? What was it doesn't have to be like this, like, oh, wow moment. That's not what I'm saying. Can you recall when you're like, oh, yeah, I'm 100%? Because I know anybody would have residual feelings the first year doing a new job, something still foreign. I'm still thinking about my old, we're humans.
Yeah, yeah. No. Man, really the changing point was like about a year and a half in because when I went up there, I had found a trainer, a facility, and everything. So I was actually working and training to just stay prepared
See what I just
to hit
said?
the league at
That
the
was
same
see what
time.
see what I
Yeah.
just expounded?
Like I wasn't just
How would
giving
I
it
know
up
that?
like that. I
Yeah.
was still training, you know, doing my thing. But I found a church up there that I started going to, a non-denominational church. And you know, whenever you know surround yourself around like-minded people
Yeah.
that ultimately you know want to have a relationship with the Lord, you know, you begin to learn a lot that you didn't know. And what I had realized is that you know some of the things that I was going through mentally, you know, was because I knew too much about myself and my own problem, and I didn't know enough about Him. I didn't know enough about Christ. Had I known enough about Christ, then the things that I was actually worried about, things that I would have anxiety about, I already would have actual right, correct answer to those. So that just has to do with having a relationship, and that's when that desire really started for me um, when I was up in Utah. I was pretty much left home, left everything that I knew to go to a foreign land, and
Yeah.
have to figure things out. And you know, it's good that God was with me in that process to meet me right up there.
So, like, when you say I knew too much about my own problems, because I'm thinking about me and just rumination, like just sitting too long with the same thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't think that's selfish because some people might categorize thinking about themselves as selfish. I don't because I think about myself a lot. I spend a lot of time alone.
Yeah. Self reflection.
You know what I mean? That
Hmm.
that's I like to spend a lot of time in silence because in those moments I'm able to kind of hear myself think
Hmm.
or hear whatever thoughts kind of flowing in those moments.
Hmm.
But you probably weren't as refined in that time, but you
Hmm.
still went through that. What happened after Salt Lake City?
So yeah, I mean, so after Salt Lake City, Utah, about 2.5 years, I was ready to thaw out. It was cold up there. I was ready to get back to Texas
Yeah,
and just get closer to family. And by that time, 2.5 years in, I was actually really enjoying sales, and I wanted to continue that.
yeah,
So when I moved back to Texas, I had left that job. I did not know what I was about to do, and my uncle, who's a medical doctor in Lubbock, he's a pulmonary critical care doctor. He was talking to me about medical device sales, what reps do, and stuff like that. And I was crazy intrigued, and I didn't even know that an industry like that existed.
mm,
Because when you're not in healthcare, you just think that hospitals provide everything that they use and they have. Like
that's
you're not
right.
thinking that there's a whole massive industry with
Yeah,
like
it's huge.
thousands of companies that provide all the products that are used in each department with each specialty in the hospital. A hospital is just essentially it's a business with a name and a building, but like it's straight companies that actually provide what they have in there that they use on their patients every single day.
Yeah,
Had no clue that that was even like
a thing.
a thing. So when I found out, I was crazy, crazy interested. That's when my younger brother Justin also was getting into medical device
Why
sales.
were you interested? Like when he presented that, was that because you wanted to do it, or because he's your uncle, someone is a medical doctor, now he has influence on you, or did that come directly from you?
Well, that's a great question, bro. So my uncle, so he actually did have a really good influence on me. He's a really really great man, a great person. But just the description of medical device sales, and after doing my research and seeing like just the job, what we do, how we work with doctors, surgeons, we consult them, we partner with them, and we're the experts with our devices. They're the
Yeah,
experts with um, procedures and anatomy and disease state and all that stuff. But there's tools that are needed to fix what's going on with the patients, and there's a whole nother side of that, and that's
yeah,
the companies and the people that consult and the experts in that sense. So I thought it was super super, and I still today think it's like the coolest job in the world to be able to partner with doctors and help real people that are going through real lifetime challenges.
yeah.
I mean, uh, like I said, I majored in accounting, and you know today, I'm in neurovascular procedures, being able to consult and provide devices, interventions, implants that are used on patients that have aneurysms that are at risk to rupture, and also patients that have had hemorrhagic or ischemic strokes. So that's just truly a blessing from God. Like
It
I
is.
I never could have guessed or even I just never saw
Dude,
myself doing this today, but this is where the Lord has me.
and that's the beauty of life. Life is uncertain. Like you shouldn't be certain about the next steps. And coming from someone, I've been in occupational medicine space for the last 12 years of my professional career. You're a leader in your industry. right? Just the way you're able to bring people together. That how sales competitive,
Oh yeah.
how it is,
Oh
especially
yeah.
in device sales, right? But you have this I don't know, it's like a skill set that God bless you with to turn all of it. Like, how did you develop that? Did that happen immediately or over time?
Man, that's that's another great question. Um, I believe that that's just a gift that God has just given me, you know, and I think that it's a gift love, through love, the love that He puts in me. I mean, I'm not doing anything extraordinary, but just being mindful of my neighbor, you know, loving my neighbor and treating others how I would want to be treated. Um, you know, I feel like I wake up every day with so much energy and abundance of just love and joy. And whenever I go about work, go about meeting with doctors, and having to coordinate that and be the quarterback of every situation, you know, it just ties back to football, you know,
I was
ties
gonna,
right back to football.
Dude, you just picked my brain because I was gonna ask you, like, you have like that cool, calm, and collected energy about you in any room, not just the space that we're in. Was that something that came from you being the captain in football and just leading, or was that something that was always just natural for you?
Um, well, Well, my dad raised us in that way to not overreact or not like let your emotions pretty much dictate your behavior. So it really started with him and playing football. You know, football is a tough sport. You're asked to do a lot. You know, you got to be great at school. You got to be great outside of school. You have to be great at studying. You have to be influential to the community, and you also have to, you know, lead by example with your team. So just going through all of that and the different things that can happen there, like you're going to go through good times when you're winning games and things are going good, and you're going to go through sad times where you may have lost a teammate on the team, you know, or someone may have got kicked off the team, or someone may have got a season-ending injury, you know, and you got to, you know, manage those emotions but still be able to push forward. And football is something that really, really taught me that, and something that I still, you know, apply today everywhere that I go.
Yeah,
You want to be calm because the storm's gonna come. The
yeah.
storm is gonna come.
So one thing, like a lot of people might listen to that and feel like, oh, he's probably just kind of tinkering around like nihilism, like, right? But I know, because I know you outside of this, how you feel. Like you're intentional, bro. Like with your relationships, with your conversations, with the message. Like you're like that's rare from my perspective at least. And I'm only speaking objectively, right? Because we don't spend a lot of time together. So what I'm able to see, and that is a skill set that can really, you're not looking to change the entire world. I know that. But you can create a spark in one person that could set things and set ablaze. You understand what I'm saying? Like by
Yeah,
being that and
absolutely.
just being the way that you are. But I think about you going from football to medical device sales, and now you're here. From a leadership perspective, let's say you're advising people that are intrigued about medical device sales. What would be step one, or what would you advise them to be step one?
Step one that I would advise anybody getting into medical device sales first is to find a purpose. Because if you don't have a purpose and you're going into it for a specific kind of benefit,
Money.
money or like a lifestyle or anything like that, you know, that's eventually going to fade. That stuff doesn't last. Like you get older, the way you feel about things change, and that's not going to be satisfying, you know. But I think if everyone can find a purpose in what they're doing, a good purpose, something that's attached to something good and selfless, it helps
Yeah.
other people. It can help you too, but it should be focused to help other people. When you set your you set your purpose to that, then it gives you a reason to want to get up every day and get after it. You know, for
You,
that purpose.
you wanna know my purpose?
What's your purpose, Bill?
Me, bro. Like I'm my purpose. So God brought me here to not find, oh, who am I, but to just kind of unlearn, because growing up, when you're born, you're given a set of directives to follow through life. And at some point, it hit for you, which it did for me too. I was in my 30s, like 33, 34, before it actually made sense. I'm 39 now, just to give you some context. And it's always been about me. Every experience, every interaction, everybody I talk to, but it's difficult to believe that. It's easier to kind of push people to the side and say, oh, you're doing this to me. But once I learned it, it transformed my life. My purpose is me. I've been blessed with, a wife, beautiful kids and all that stuff. And I'm very intentional about them and all that. But if I don't focus on me, I can't show up for them.
Exactly. And it's not a selfish thing. It's something that has to be done.
Yes, sir.
Like, how can you love other people if you don't even love yourself?
And that's it. And loving yourself is loving. You all, like we all, everyone's love. Like there's no, I don't think about hierarchies or whatever. Like everyone I interact with, it's the same to me from my perspective, right? So, and I'm not here to judge anyone or judge the world on how people choose to kind of navigate the complexities of the human experience. But for me, it's just different, right? But because we live in a world that judges by first time they see you, nobody's gonna know that about me.
Yeah, that's so true.
Right?
That's true.
Exactly. But I want you to like kind of walk us through. Now you're doing this at a high level leadership, because I know you're always looking to grow. Right? What does that look like for you?
Investing. Whatever you want to grow in, you got to invest in. So I'm very invested in the things that I want to grow in life. I want to grow my relationship with the Lord, so I'm invested with that. I want to make sure that I take care of my body, so I'm invested with that. My career in medical device sales, in neurovascular, I'm invested in that. I'm constantly studying. I'm constantly going to conferences and summits to learn more, to engage with the right people, build the right connections, and just be totally all in. As
I love that.
You're a believer in Christ, I'm a believer in Christ, man, and we're really called to give our best in every ask of life.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Mar. It's all you.
Do you believe in like retirement, like so you work to a certain age and then you relax?
I think yes, I do. I think that, but I don't think it's one fixed age like 65. I think that it's really everybody's own call, within their families and how they're working with their spouse and what they want to do. But we're also supposed to enjoy life. We're also supposed to enjoy life. We're supposed to serve the Lord. And even in retirement, you can still serve the Lord by how you love your neighbor, by how you treat other people, by how you forgive, how kind you are, how gentle you are, how slow to anger you are. These things are all serving the Lord because it's having an effect on other people that lasts forever. These kind of effects last forever. So,
would you say you're enjoying life?
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying life. I really am enjoying life. And it doesn't mean that there's not ups and downs. Like my life is like a roller coaster a lot of the times. But I now am able to find joy in everything. And it kind of sounds like I'm saying the same thing over again.
It doesn't.
But
it doesn't.
It all ties back to the Lord, and what He did for me.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
Life is supposed to be a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what cold is if you've never felt hot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and you don't know what good is if you've never felt bad. You know what bad is. I really believe everyone has all emotions encapsulated within them. And we just choose when to express them. But life should be a roller coaster. That's what I.
Yeah, it's how you're able to appreciate things.
Yeah.
Like if things are always going well and always going good, how can you truly appreciate that thing the way that you need to?
How are you growing? That's my.
How are you growing?
Yeah.
And there's nobody that's fully grown. And through life until you leave this earth, you're growing
Yes,
from
sir.
when you're born all the way to when you leave. So it's all about keeping that, being open to that, yielding to that, and allowing that to finish its work.
What's if you had to say or give an advice, one thing to just anyone, what would you tell them?
The one advice that I would give to anybody, if I just
Anybody?
had one thing I
Like,
could
okay,
tell,
me.
well, I already know that you're a believer in Christ, but I would say to seek Him, to seek Him. You know, there's many people, many things that are out there that are said about Christianity and about Christ, but I think the best way for anybody to know the truth is to seek it themselves, to find out themselves, so nobody else can tell them any different. You know, I think that if anybody believes in the Lord because someone else told them or because someone else says it and they sound good, you know, that's kind of foolish if you ask me, because people can sound good all day and stuff, but
Yeah,
what you experience, what you go through, nobody can ever take that away from
that's
you.
right.
So, you
Because
know,
it's you.
it's you
It's you
and it's
versus
you
you. You
and it's
only,
your relationship with Him.
dude.
And
Go ahead.
the you know, the God I believe in, my Father in heaven, he is the God of miracles, you know. And the reason why I'm saying this is because no man can change their heart. No man can change their heart. No one even has the formula to how you change your heart. It takes a miracle act for the heart to change, desires to change. So by accepting Christ in your heart, believing in your mouth and believing in your heart and confessing with your mouth, He then lives in you and starts changing your heart.
Mm.
When your heart starts changing, everything else begins to change. The way you see people, the way you love, the way you communicate, you begin to become more holy, because that's His ultimate goal, is to get rid of sin from within you so that we can ultimately be with Him in heaven when we leave here.
Yeah.
So
Can I ask you a
it
question?
all ties back to that and the state of our hearts.
The state of our hearts.
The state of our hearts.
So, we talked about growth, like going through hard things, life's a roller coaster. Have you been through something that was transformative for you, right? Like it was something that changed you.
Yeah, man, and that is an excellent question. For me, what really changed me was in 2019. I got married, and I was married for about 8 months, then divorced. And we just talked about my upbringing and everything, and you've heard so much. I've talked about my parents and my siblings and everyone's involvement. I hadn't really faced any kind of adversity in life. Like, things had always really been working out great for me. And I never ever thought that I, like Bryan Iwuji, be the one that gets in a divorce. I never ever thought that, but um, life be lifing.
Yeah.
And my relationship with God wasn't there yet, and I wasn't the person that I needed to be going into marriage, nor was I fully invested the way that you should be going into
Mm,
something so important. It's
I love that
the spouse
transparency.
that you choose is the second biggest decision that you make in your life. So
Second was first, God.
yeah,
Okay.
if you choosing to accept God or not, because that's
Okay.
going to have a direct impact on your life.
Yeah.
Than your spouse, right? Because in the Bible it says the two will become one flesh. So essentially, who you marry is going to be who you become one flesh with. Like, yes, you're still in two separate bodies, but in the eyes of God, you're one flesh. So the decision on who's now going to be a part of you is the second biggest decision. And the third biggest decision is the relationship believers have with one another. We're not we're not called to just be quiet or like private about our faith or anything. We're called to be vulnerable and transparent and fellowship, because that's when we're in the presence of God and the Holy Spirit does His work in everyone's heart. So for me, it was that divorce. And after that divorce, I had just built a house up in Carrollton and found myself alone in that house. And it got to a point where I was in one of the rooms one day, and I was on my knees and I was crying out to God. I was crying out to God so loud and such a high voice that I can't even emulate that, man. But like, I was just upset and also sorry too at the same time for just my sins and trespasses. And I told God that I'm sorry, and I asked him for forgiveness, and that I don't want to go through this anymore. And for me, during that time, one of the biggest things that was a fear for me was to talk about my divorce, because I felt a lot of shame and embarrassment just having to go through that, just because everybody knew that I got married. The Nigerian community did, like people at work, like everybody in my life just knew that. And now it's turning back around, trying to explain to them why that's not happening. So that was a big fear for me, to have to open up about that. However, God used that fear and turned it into something that ultimately glorifies his name. He gave me the courage to be able to, like shortly after I was crying out to God in that room, was when I started gaining courage to actually talk about my testimony. And I want to say this, that a testimony involves seeing the grace of God in your situation. If you have a situation, but you don't have gratitudes towards it, or you don't see the grace of God in that situation, then essentially it's just a bad story that doesn't have a Superman in it, doesn't have like the redemption, in it. And whenever we're able to take things up to God and look at our situations, then we see how, oh wow, like he helped me here. He was always here. He was always there for me. He always covered me. He always wiped my tears away, and he always brought me back into a better situation. When we're able to look at our testimonies and have the courage to share those with other people, there's other people that are going through a lot in life. And when you share your testimony, you lower yourself in humility. Instead of you being someone that looks like everything's going well, talking to someone that things aren't going so well, when we share our testimonies, we lower ourselves. We relate to that person. And it's like we're helping carry the burden that they're going through by asking them the right questions, having empathy for them, and also not condemning them, but letting them know, that, hey, things are going to be okay, and ultimately pointing them back to Christ, because he is the true physician. He is the ultimate healer. And healing is, starts from the inside out.
Why do you think, and I'll let you get a drink, but why do you think people are so afraid to be vulnerable, to live their truth? What's the fear? Like, is it a shame? Oh, they're going to make fun of me? They're going to say this?
This world's mean, this world's mean, and it doesn't encourage the things that God encourages. So vulnerability, involves being open regardless of the situation, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Vulnerability involves being open and pouring out. And I think a lot of people fear doing that because they don't want to be hurt. They don't want someone else to use something that was so important to them that they kept deep inside. They don't want someone to use that to hurt them or to badmouth them or just have any kind of negative effect. Yeah. And that's where that comes from. But, Christ gives us a spirit of courage. He doesn't give us a spirit of fear.
That's right.
He gives us a spirit of courage to where we're able to talk about these things and it's able to have a positive impact on other people's lives. We were talking about it on the phone. I was ordering some Uber Eats, man. I was just ordering some Moxie's, some salmon from Moxie's. And a guy named Barry was the Uber driver. And he came up to my door and rang the doorbell and everything and handed me the food. And he had really seemed like he had good energy at the time. He was like, "Hey, what's up, man? Here's your food." And I had just said, "Oh, man, thank you so much." And I said, "God bless you," as he was turning around, about to walk down my steps. Then he just randomly turned back around and looked at me and was like, "Hey, man, have you ever been to Moxie's before?" I was like, "Yeah, I've been to Moxie's." And he was just kind of telling me how cool it was and everything. And we related, then he started asking me about Carrollton, if I grew up in Carrollton. And I said, yeah, I grew up in Carrollton. And he said, oh, yeah, I've been here for 15 years. And then I felt in my spirit to ask him, how's everything going? And he laughed, a painful laugh, and told me that, oh, like things are not so well. And when that happened is when I really felt for him. I just felt for him. I just felt bad because, number one, I appreciated his vulnerability, like him even just opening up to me at the door and telling me why things are not so good. And, his explanation was that, man, I had been doing valet and stuff like that, making $60,000 a year. And I got another job and I was making 80 something thousand a year and things were working out great. Then I kind of made some poor decisions, kind of blew my money. And now I'm Uber driving and I'm trying to make ends meet. It's a struggle. And, with him sharing that, I saw where he made mistakes, but, I made it a thing not to point that out. Like the man's already down.
So you had awareness.
The man's already down. Like why are we kicking someone that's down? Like we should be pouring into him and encouraging him. So I let him know, like, hey man, people make mistakes, man. Like everyone in life makes mistakes, and at some point we eventually realize it. And for you to even sit here and talk to me about that says a lot about you. Says a lot about who you are, because you don't even have to do that.
That's right.
You could just brush the situation off and go, So it ultimately led me to the Holy Spirit led me to talking to him about sin and how the real problem that we all deal with is sin. And that's the big problem that God doesn't like. And in the Bible, it says that the wages of sin is death.
You know what? I think future conversation, I want to have you, because I want to dive into that.
Yeah.
Because I'm still like kind of foggy around, is there like a universal definition of sin? What falls into like because I hear that word gets thrown around a lot. And I'm always just so confused. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to walk around life just being afraid that I'm going to sin if I don't have clear, concise directives. This is what sin is. But I want to say, like, man, like I could tell, I appreciate the vulnerability, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here. And with Full Circle Chat, the goal is always just to converse with people globally, and hopefully someone can take one thing away that could, create that spark and change the path, create a different trajectory for them. So, I mean, your story is phenomenal. You're a phenomenal human. You know that. You're a great guy, right? Don't let people outside of you convince you otherwise, because it's easy to fall for that.
No, I appreciate that, man. And you as well, too, man. I really look up to you, the way that you love your wife, the way that you raise your families. That's the most important thing for a man to do. Their job, especially as a husband and father, is to take care of that family the right way. Love your wife the way Jesus loved the church, and that's by dying to ourselves, to live for her, live for our families. That's how we love God, is by loving what he's blessed us with, which is a wife and kids. It represents him. So I see you doing that. I have so much respect for that. Like, you don't even understand, man. Like, so much respect for that. I know it's not easy. It's not hard. You're a determined person, man. You're so determined. You're so ambitious. And it's never about resources for you. Like, I've noticed it's never about resources. Like, once you know what you want to do, it's just a matter of time, like, because nothing's going to stop it. So I appreciate that about you, bro. And I encourage you, man, to continue, bro, because I support you, bro. I see you and I talk about you, bro. So, man, listen, really, really, man, like, God's going to use you and use this podcast, man, to touch a lot of people in the right way. So, yeah, man.
I do. Means more than you know.
Man, as believers, man, we're supposed to look at one another and pour into one another, man. Like it's our jobs to be doing that, man. Like a lot of us go through a lot and we're fighting hard, man. We're fighting the good fight. But like everyone needs a little bit of encouragement, man. We ain't always like everyone is not always doing well. Sometimes our cup is almost empty and it needs to be refilled, right? And you know, I'm blessed with an abundance of love, man. Like, and I know God's blessed me with that. I know it, I feel it, I see it, and it'd be selfish of me to look at my brother and not pour into my brother when I easily can. God easily poured into my heart. Let me share that with my brother and let him know what's real, what's true, the things that he's doing good.
You know, I grew up my whole life. I just didn't have that. I didn't have people that were willing to kind of speak life, even if you help them in any way. People kind of shied away from it, and that's been my whole life, bro. Like I went through a season where I trusted no one, not even my own family, just because I just didn't. It's just the honest truth. And everyone wants to make everything all sugar, like smooth, happy. But the most important thing to me is my peace and my family, my wife and my kids. My kids are gonna experience a completely different life than I did. They're gonna be free, curious, and free. But I appreciate you coming on. I don't want to keep going. You know what I mean? Like it's just
I
those
love
your
it, man.
words.
I love this conversation, bro.
Yeah,
Like we can go for
yeah,
hours and hours, man.
yeah.
So
I'm gonna
much to
have you
talk
back
about.
for sure because
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
more. It's the first time having you on. I want to have you again because I just think there's a lot, right, that we can kind of talk through, right, two different perspectives that can really make some real impact.
Yeah. No, I see it. I absolutely see it, man. I love the perspective you bring about things. You really think about things outside of the box, and it's not wrong. Like it kind of enlightens me because
Mm.
I don't think the same way as you. You have a very unique way of thinking and understanding things, and taking control of your situation, man. Like I really love that about you, bro. Big congratulations to your brother on opening up his juice spot with his
Oh
wife.
yeah,
That's freaking
centered.
incredible,
Yeah,
man. It's
downtown,
incredible.
down by the American Airlines
Yeah,
Center, man.
absolutely,
Valerian and Veronica, phenomenal. My little brother and
absolutely.
his wife.
Yeah, they're doing their thing
Ume-Ezeoke.
there, man. I still haven't even had a chance to swing by there, but I'm gonna swing
Yeah,
by and show them some love. So, big shout out to him
yes, sir.
doing his thing, man. Got some good juice downtown.
Yeah, very good,
Um,
good stuff.
but yeah, no, super grateful for this opportunity, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I would love to come back
Oh,
and
you coming back,
there's,
man?
there's, a,
Listen,
there's a
you
lot
know,
we got to talk about.
you know me. Like one thing about me is if I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna say it. So you coming back, but I appreciate this, man, more than you know,
Man,
because
thank you, bro.
you're a
Thank you.
phenomenal
Thank
dude,
you.
man,
You too, bro.
and appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Full Circle Chat. We hope you enjoy the conversation. Remember, you can catch every episode on YouTube as well as Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, be sure to leave us a review. It helps others find the podcast and also join the conversation. For updates and behind the scenes content, be sure to also follow us on Instagram. See you next time, and remember, let's keep that conversation going.